So, welcome to the Fuck the Stigma podcast today. I have Julie and Sean here with me.
Good morning.
So I brought you guys on here today to talk about Safe at My House, and I kind of want to know what it's about and like why it started. So what is it?
Yeah, Safe at My House is our 501c3 nonprofit that we started to help youth and the vulnerable population be provided with better life choices.
Meaning what? Better life choices?
Well, we provide the resources that youth and the vulnerable population need to make better life choices.
Okay.
So we have a database of all sorts of resources. We also have a peer support program that we are currently working on where we have mentorship, tutoring, and sponsoring. If you're in AA, we can provide you a sponsor, and we can provide, so we also take people who've been in AA or are members of AA or just got out of detox or residential, and we take them and we place them at different detox facilities to do book studies and things like that.
Yeah, so you just kind of help them get started.
Yeah, it's kind of get that
awesome.
12-step in. Yeah. We like to be that extra helping hand. We also aim to provide youth with the resources and tools to thrive free of addiction, bullying, and violence.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, we started because the foster youth was aging out at 18 and then kind of being kicked out on the streets. It turns out a lot of the homeless population is aged out foster youth. So we wanted to be that extra helping hand that can provide them with resources so that they don't have to be on the streets.
Yes.
And turn to drugs and prostitution and violence and things like that.
Yeah, I was actually just talking about this. Like, some people go into sex work not because like they want to, but it's like the only thing they know and like almost their only option.
Yeah,
to like survive.
They have no other options. It's survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we want to be like that extra helping hand that can provide them with the tools that they need. We offer tutoring. We offer resources to get food and clothing and
Transitional living.
Transitional living,
like sober living, yeah.
Yeah, sober livings. We also help people with, we'll do panel speaking or getting panels together and bringing them to the detoxes or treatment facilities.
Oh, you guys do panels.
Yes, we do. I did one on Thanksgiving at a men's treatment facility.
That's awesome.
Mesa. And it's a tradition that my sponsor does every year because he had a Thanksgiving episode where he wasn't welcome with his family. So him and another gentleman decided that when they first got sober that they were going to do this treatment facility, and traditionally they've done it every year. And
That's
this
awesome.
year I got to be a part of that, and it was kind of cool. You know,
I want to do some panels. I want to get into it.
we have lots of resources. I have people reaching out asking for participants all the time.
Fuck yeah.
We have a database that you can register on, and
on your website.
Yes, if you go to peer support registration, get yourself signed up, and we'll place you somewhere.
All right. So how did you guys kind of get started?
Originally, I got started by my nephew. He came home one day and he was like in a heap on the ground in the driveway, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like uncontrollably sobbing. I was like, "What's going on?" And he muttered out his best friend's name, and I'm like, "Oh no!" Like, that sobbing, like something bad.
Yeah, like
happened.
a gut feeling. Or
and
something
he
not
told
right.
me that a couple of the boys that had been in my house, many times, his friends, a little altercation broke out at one of the guys' houses, and he shot his best friend and killed him.
Oh, your nephew witnessed that.
No, my nephew wasn't there, but it was his best friend.
Oh.
He could have very well been there.
Yeah.
And his best friend was always at our house. Like, I remember this goofy, funny kid, like, always being at our house, and, like, now he's not there anymore. And it was just such a shock. Like, how do you call the young boy's mom as the other kid's mom and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, but, your son didn't make it. Like, didn't make it over? Didn't make it where? Like, what do you mean? Like, he didn't make it. He passed away." So I have my own kids up and coming, and I don't want them to feel like, they've got to just constantly be looking over their shoulder. I feel like the parents need to be responsible. Like, why did this kid have access to a gun in his mother's home? They're not old enough to live on their own. They're not even 17. What happened in this young man's head to where he decided that I'm just going to go off and shoot my friend? Like, why would you think that that's like the way to settle an argument?
Wait, so to understand the story better, who shot the kid?
Okay, so it's two boys. There's Ashton Alruz and Zachary Pickerel. Ashton Alruz went over to Zachary Pickerel's house. Zachary had his girlfriend over there and his neighbor friend over. And Zachary was cleaning his gun and loading it. And Ashton and him got into like a little argument over, something like music or just something like not a big deal. And Zachary lifted the gun into Ashton's face and said, "Are you afraid to die?" And Ashton said, "You better shoot me." And he shot him. Right in the...
Gee, how old were they?
17.
17,
Mm-hmm.
the kid, both of them?
Yeah. Well, the mom was at work. And then, after, I believe Zachary said something like, "Oh, fuck," he just realized what he did. But it's still that's not how we handle our conflict. And these kids these days, they're not learning conflict resolution.
No, they result to violence. Because,
Yeah.
we're human. We get angry and, we have almost like a fight instinct a little bit. And that's what makes us different from, animals a little bit, is that we have, we can rationalize and, be like, oh, okay, I don't have to resort to anger in this situation. We can talk this out. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't learn that because they see their parents, being aggressive. That's how they're resolving things.
Yeah. So it's just very shocking to know that this happened in our own neighborhood, our safe town of Yorba Linda, where, it's the land of gracious living, that the kids are resulting to drugs and violence in such a manner that people are getting killed. Mm-hmm. And then not to mention, another driving force is this fentanyl epidemic.
Oh, for sure.
These kids are dying in masses, and they're not even getting the chance to make all the bad decisions and learn from their mistakes.
It's there's no learning. It's, you do it and die.
It goes from addiction to death.
Yes.
Or experimentation to death.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're seeing a lot of that. And one of the things that I am working towards is the harm reduction and Narcan distribution and education and all these things that we can help people with. We're trying also, we have this Safe at My Schools program that we're trying to implement at this time.
What are you guys thinking for that?
Safe at My School is a buddy system through the schools where we kind of have a school club where the kids can kind of sign up and get involved with being mentors or just promoting the anti-violence and the anti-addiction and kind of to make it cool and generalize it a little bit.
Okay.
That it's cool now. It's cool to not be on drugs. It's cool to thrive in life and get good grades. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of the kids nowadays are in this mindset that it's
of rebelling.
Yeah,
and that's the cool thing to do. Doing what
not prostitution, but promiscuity.
Oh, promiscuity, yes. Doing what you're supposed to do, to succeed isn't the. I don't want to do that. I want to go I want to. What's the word? It's another. I want to go against the norm a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of it too stems from a lot of single parenting and a lot of children at home by themselves. And, I don't want to knock gaming, but the gaming violence and,
sure.
Movie violence, wherever they're picking it up from, or maybe they're from a broken home and there's, drug addiction in the home and there's violence in the home, domestic violence, and then they're taking that to schools. And then that's the solution because that's what they're growing up with.
Yes, exactly.
So we're trying to do something where we can actually have an impact on some of that, to where we can steer some kids, not all of them, obviously, but steering some kids into something better, and having a safe place, and maybe talking about, a lot of the schools these days have mental health counselors on the school grounds.
They do?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have that when I was a kid, but I have two teenage twin boys who just started high school. And I asked them, I go, do you guys have a mental health counselor? And they go, yeah, we do. And they had a gun scare at the beginning of the year where they were telling me that the school got shut down and they were locked down and all these things because somebody brought an AR-15 to school. Oh. And it's just I don't understand. We didn't have any of that stuff when I was going to school. Columbine to now, it's just like so prominent that like every other month you're hearing about, you know, school violence and school shootings, and it's just ridiculous, you know. And I just, when I met Julie, I saw what she was doing, and I just thought this needs to be bigger. And so when I went to the Young Arts Festival, I was introduced to Julie by her husband, and so we clicked, and then he asked me to check out this event that she was putting on, and I thought this needs to be bigger. I really did. I thought what she was doing and helping these young girls with arts and being creative and selling their little
art,
ceramic art.
Ceramic pottery.
They had a little 2-year-old that was doing hand painting
and stuff,
finger painting, and it was just so cute. But I just thought it could be something bigger, and I wanted to be a part of it. And I told her that, you know, I would love to do something to help you. And ever since then, they made me a board member, which I feel very honored about. And I'm just really just trying to help her build her resources and come up with new ideas and things that we could do to make this grow, because we are in the formative stages.
Yes,
we are small, and we are seeking corporate donations right now and stuff like that, you know. So we'd like to do a lot more, but we're having a fundraising event in May.
We are too, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
We're doing a beach cleanup down in
Oh,
County.
that's awesome.
And so bringing volunteers in, maybe getting some youth involved, maybe having just a little event just to promote, and also to clean up the community as well, and just get some awareness.
I love it, dude. I love what this is, and that, like, it's growing. It's only gonna get bigger.
Right. So this is just, like I said, we're in the formative stages, and you know, just a handful of us that we meet every Friday and have our little board meetings, and then do stuff like this. Like, she asked me to do this, I'm like, yeah, of course, you know. I'll go to Topanga with you.
I mean, the drive was gorgeous.
Yeah,
beautiful out here,
awesome.
you know.
Yeah.
And like, I'm at a point in my life where I work for myself, so I get to choose my schedule, and I do a lot of service work. I do a lot of volunteer work for some places that are in Orange County that are food drive banks, and you know, just doing whatever I can. I manage this over living myself, and I have 20 guys under me, and I do regional management for them. We have 16 houses, and so I get to be a part of a lot. And I love being in recovery, and I love being something positive in life today, rather than my past life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So to clear up the stigma, we're both in recovery. A lot of our board members are in recovery. A lot of our functions and functionality is recovery based and 12-step based. You can't really clean up the youth if you don't clean up yourself, you know, like you can't have...
It definitely starts with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't have addiction going on and thrive in life. So we like to be that support that is like, you can come to us with your addiction problems and we'll try to help you. We'll get you resources. We'll do whatever we can to help you. And if you mess up, it's okay. We're still here. You know what I mean? So something that we've also been working on with the Safe at My School program is putting together a Gen Z advisory board.
What's up?
So it's a council of Gen Z, and they just give us, you know, what's going on with them, what they're into. You know, we get them involved in things, such as the beach cleanup. There will be our Gen Z advisory board will be there, and it's Gen Z, so it's the youth that we're trying to target, that we're trying to help, and we're getting them involved in as much as we can. Like he mentioned the Young Entrepreneurs Art Festival that we did, and we also did a zombie bash, and both these events were the youth helped, the Gen Z youth and advisory council helped me to put this event. Like they had their hands in it everywhere. They helped me manage it. They helped me build it. They helped me, you know, throw it, all of it. And then they even got to have their own specific booths to whatever it was that their entrepreneurial arts was, not specific to art. But some of the girls that came, they were selling their art. They got to receive money for selling their art. So instead of selling their body or selling drugs, they got to feel validated for something they created.
Yeah.
You know, it was really special. It was really awesome. You can see that on our website. the videos from that, and also on our social medias. We have Instagram and Facebook at Safe at My House. And then our website is safeatmyhouse.org.
Now, Gen Z is 18 to 24.
I want to. Everybody gets it mixed up.
We don't discriminate though. We don't deny anybody. We aim to target
Gen X or something like that.
We aim to target younger because the younger you can get them, the more of an impact you have.
Yeah, Gen Z is people born between 1997 and 2012. So ages right now from 12 to 26.
12 to 26. What did I say? 15 to 25?
I said 18 to 24.
To be more politically correct, 12 to 26. We feel like if you can get them younger, you have more of a chance of impact.
Much more of it, yes.
Yeah, so that's where it comes in with
growing.
our school program and our Gen Z Advisory Council, is to get these kids feeling good about the good things they do. Because there's so much out there right now, like promoting the bad things like vaping and violence and promiscuity. And we just want these kids to realize some of the choices that they make today will affect them in years to come. And it will follow them, and they won't be able to get the job that they want because they have a criminal record, or, it's not good for them to just destroy.
A big thing is like the media, like everybody's promoting like Call of Duty. Every kid wants to play it. Even I wanted to play it at like 8 years old. And my mom was like concerned about it. Like, why are you killing people on a video game? And then the news in general, it's all fear-based. Like, what's going on in Russia, for example. I don't really know what's going on in Russia, but like, it's just like we all focus on the violence and the bad stuff, and then it's just getting thrown at the youth at a young age, and it's like they're growing up fear-based. And fear generates anxiety and depression, which in turn, like how do I cope with this anxiety and depression? Let's go to substances. Exactly. Let's go to unhealthy coping mechanisms. Let's go to when I feel angry, I'm just going to burst out in violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you know Gen Z has like the highest depression rates of like any generation before?
I didn't know that.
I mean, people lived through the Great Depression and they were less depressed than the teens are now.
I believe it though.
It's crazy. Like, these kids don't stand a chance to have healthy mental health. Somebody really needs to get in there and start doing something, and that's where we come in. Is we want to be the ones to help make sure these kids grow up in a positive light and have the resources they need, the safe spaces they need to thrive free of addiction, bullying, and violence, and just feel good about themselves being them. Like, what happened to being creative and being the oddball that, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. Something you said earlier about like school shootings. I didn't graduate school like too long ago. I graduated last year.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I graduated. So cool. Yeah, I graduated high school last year. So it's
you're
like
Gen Z.
You're Gen Z.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm Gen Z. And I felt that I would go to school in fear of like my school getting shot up. You know what I mean? And like, I was in North Carolina, so like guns are very much more accessible and easy to get. Like, our high school had a shooting team, like where you would stay after school and you could shoot guns. Okay. And it was like scary. I would grow like literally. I went to high school every day in fear, and especially.
Did they ever have any accidents at school? I mean, like.
I don't think so. And I was always concerned of that. I was like, I asked so many questions when I heard about the shooting team. I was like, that's really a thing. Wow. Yeah. So. Like, I grew up in that fear and, like, worrying, like, is there, like, that sketch kid, like...
Yeah, having a bad day and then...
Yeah.
Sliding in with the...
And then, like, you go home and then hear on the news that, like, 17 people died at, like, a high school. Like, not too far away. It's like, what is going on?
So, for me, that comes down to, like, the parents and educating their child properly, as well as having their mental health assessed. Like, you can't just absent-minded parent. You have to be 120% hands-on with your kids, especially if you're going to provide them with a gun. Mm-hmm. You know, if dad and his son or daughter or whatever go hunting, this young person needs to have the proper gun safety knowledge, and also a mental health evaluation. And they need to be watched by the parents. Comes down a lot of it to the parents.
Yeah, for sure.
And made sure that, like, this kid's not going to just go off and shoot people. There's a lot of times there's signs before that something is wrong here. And at that point, they don't need to have access to any guns.
Yeah.
No adolescent can get a gun without a parent's consent.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does come down to the parents. Now, I know there are guns acquired off the street, which like young Zachary in the story that I told you, or a 3D printer or whatever. I'm not even sure what that is. Or
You can 3D print guns?
I think so.
What?
But I mean, that kind of stuff is like, well, there had to be somebody that knew like this young person was getting access to these things. And perhaps he's got some anger issues prior to this. And people need to just stop turning a blind eye. You know, there are certain things that are not okay, and we cannot just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, instead of like looking at mental health, we ignore it.
Yeah, no, we need to take into account mental health. Like,
Understand it as well, you know, because there's a lot of stigma that goes with mental health, and like it's just another sickness, you know, like there are people out there that are untreated, and a lot of the homeless population. I mean, I see people all the time walking down the street just like screaming, or just, you know, just like
it's all mental health.
It's all mental health, and a lot of it, I believe, has come from drug addiction and the delusions of, you know, like being under the influence. You know, I started my addiction at age 12, you know, and it scares the shit out of me to have two 14-year-olds hoping that they're not going to get caught up in the same track of lifestyle that I took, you know, because I don't want to deal with that shit. You know, I've already dealt with it with me, you know, and I fear for my kids, you know, like, are they going to join up with the wrong crowd? Are they going to get, you know, offered?
But for sure. That's always a worry and always a possibility. But I feel like you're like, I think you're doing pretty good if you're like even worrying about that, you know?
Yeah, it's on the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, because my parents never wanted to like I grew up with they didn't like therapy, didn't believe in therapy, thought it was weird, like just figure it out. The stigma with it, you know? So it's like, I feel like you'd be willing to provide that, you know? So I think...
Of course. And I talk to my children. They know what I do, and they know what I'm involved with it. And they, you know, they're really on board with, you know, looking up to me as a father figure. It was something I never had, you know, like they actually like what dad's doing, you know what I mean? And I mean, you know, I let them see that, hey, this is what I'm involved with, and we're trying to get in the schools, and they said, that's really cool, Dad, you know. And like, I think my kids for the most part are good kids, you know. They always tell me, hey, I got an A, or, you know, I got my B+ up to an A and stuff, and I always just try and just be positive with them, you know what I mean? I don't allow them to hit each other. They're twins. They're 14. They've lived in the same room since they were kids. But just even a punch, I tell one to the other, don't hit my kid. And he was like, wait, Dad, I'm your kid too. And I said, I would tell somebody the same thing about you know, like I don't allow, you know, like some people will just allow their kids to fight, or
dude,
I don't do it at all, because I think if that's what they're taught in the home, then it's just a matter of time when they go to school and they hurt somebody, you know, or that's the solution. To me, violence is never the solution. You know, never. I was a victim of teenage violence and abuse and all these things, and I turned to drugs, and my life did not turn out the way that my mother had planned, I'm sure, you know, but like I said, I grew up without a father, and I was always looking for somebody to fill that position, and it wasn't something I could find, you know.
We need to normalize mental health, and it being okay to acknowledge your mental health and the mental health of your children. I have a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old, and my 9-year-old is in therapy. She's also in equine therapy, where she gets to work with horses. And my 4-year-old, you best believe, when she turns 5 and they allow it, I'm gonna have her in therapy. I already have a therapist picked out. She's great. She does play therapy with them, and just it's an extra adult that they can trust, you know, and we need to talk to our children. Be their friend and their parent, but make sure you know what your friend's doing. You know who they're going out with. You know where they're at. Like, if my kids go to somebody else's house, like, I want to know their parents. I want to know that their guns, if they have them, are locked up, that there's a parent around that is responsible and talking to their child and knowing what's going on with their child's mental health. Just so much more that we can do as parents, rather than turning a blind eye and just thinking, oh, it'll grow away. They'll grow out of it. I mean, usually it just grows and festers and turns into
for sure.
Explodes into a just disaster. And, we really could prevent a lot by being there more. And unfortunately, I get it. Like, we have single parents, they've got to work 2 jobs, this and that. But
yeah, 100%.
it takes a village, and we're here. This is the village. The village is here. Just call us, send us an email, drop us
and then if you want to look at the root of it, of like, say, why is a parent raising their kid like that? It's probably the same way they were raised. You know what I mean? And I feel like there needs to be something for parents out there as well.
We also invite parents. So another part of Safe at My House is parenting classes. We want to promote parents and child working together on fun activities and doing things together. When we threw the Young Entrepreneurs Art Festival and the Zombie Bash, you best believe the parents were there helping them set up. The parents came, they visited the other kids' booths, and they were super involved.
Yeah.
So, and always we encourage parental consent and parental involvement, of course, because healthy children start from healthy families. So
for
definitely
sure,
something that we're into is creating healthy families.
I love it.
She was speaking about childhood therapy. I have a friend who has her 2-year-old in play therapy. And
what is play therapy?
I don't know, but I want it. I want play therapy. I think because the child is so young, they're able to see signs of problems arising with the child, because the child came from a broken home. There was violence through the father, and so CPS got involved. And the mother takes her child to the play therapy to see that there's not something else going on when he has visitation with the father. So like if there's some kind of acting out or some kind of whatever, I guess the therapists are able to see through how the child plays what's going on. And they can actually intervene and say, like, there's something else going on that we don't know about. Because so many people I meet today that are in drug addiction, it's all childhood issues a lot of times, molestations, early sexual experiences that they're not, equipped for.
You think substance abuse happens with like childhood things? Like it causes it a little bit?
I don't want to say causality comes from that, but I think a lot of us are predetermined to be drug addicts, like they teach us. But I do believe also that some of the factors of our childhood, we're unable to deal with negative emotions when we're developing into adolescence. And like I said, I started at age 12, and mine was fed to me like, try this, try this, try this. I looked up to the person that was giving it to me, and I would try anything and everything. Now, if that happens today, everything's laced with fentanyl, and I mean, it scares the shit out of me to think about, like, if kids are getting that same type of influence from an older friend, relative, person in the home, whatever, or maybe there's something just lying around, and like, it's really sad, and I don't even understand the whole aspect of putting fentanyl in everything, I mean, like, are you killing off your clientele?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just population control. I mean, I have no idea what it is.
I really think I'm guessing the initial point of it was to make it more addictive so you keep coming back.
Right, if you don't die.
Backfiring, yeah.
Because it is like the smallest amount, a match head or so, will kill a person, and especially as somebody who isn't in a tolerant type of, like in their addiction where they have a tolerance, like an opiate addict can do some fentanyl and probably not die, but somebody who has never had anything like that, or say somebody who wants to do cocaine, and I'm not saying that's a good thing either, but like
It
can be like, I just had a friend a few months ago pass away from doing cocaine.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I had somebody tell me.
And also, what I'm working towards too is the education of that, of what to do if that happens, because some people will just freak out, leave the person, or not know that you can actually revive somebody.
Yeah, spread the information right now.
That's what. So Narcan is something that you know, you can get pretty readily today. I'm trying to actually get it, you know, more readily available. I know they're putting it in some schools, having it on campus because they've had fentanyl overdoses. I mean, everyone that I hear from that even speaks about a fentanyl overdose, I put Narcan in their hand and I say, use it, because you can save a life today. You can, you know, mouth to mouth, chest compressions, get 911 on the phone, do something. People can come back, you know, from a fentanyl overdose. You know, it's a temporary thing if you act quickly. But if you just, you know, there's so many times when people die alone, you know, and that's really what, or people get scared and they don't want to do anything about it, you know, and, or they don't know what to do. So educating people is something that is super important in my world, you know,
For sure.
especially living in a sober living where I have 20 men under my thing. You know, you never know what kind of journey somebody's on. You never know when somebody's in their last 30 days of their life, you know, where they're on that path where they're ready to make that decision and they don't care about the consequences, really, you know, because as drug addicts, a lot of times the drug is more important than the consequences, or or getting rid of the feelings that they're going through. Say they go through a breakup or loss of job or maybe a death of a family member or something like that, and they say they have no solution, so they turn back to drugs. And after a period of sobriety, if it's laced with fentanyl, it's probably going to kill you. You know, you have no tolerance. You're just like a brand new clean system, and you know, just the smallest amount will kill you. So yeah, Narcan is like something that is
Saves
available.
lives.
Fuck the stigma.
Fuck
you
the
know,
stigma.
make it available. Do you guys
have
Narcan
it?
here?
We got you some.
I don't know if we have it in the
Ooh,
house.
we got
but
you some
thank you.
Narcan. Another thing about Narcan, though, is I dealt with an overdose situation of a young teen in my home, and it was actually a family member, and I knew that I had Narcan because he supplies everybody with Narcan, so I had Narcan, but I did not know how to use it. So I thought that there was another piece that you popped onto the other end. I didn't realize that was the Narcan.
Yeah, it's the whole
So,
thing.
I mean, I could have been that extra support for that person, you know, a few minutes sooner than when the ambulance got there, but I did not know how to use it. So also on safeatmyhouse.org, we have Narcan awareness in our blogs, and it does tell you how to properly use it and give you some information about Narcan.
I'll come out and teach you how to use it. You know?
Yeah.
We'll send a mentor out to teach you.
In each box, there's a user guide as well. You know?
Yeah.
So like, what I like to do is I like to take the doses out. There's 2 doses and just tack them on the wall so they're like readily available. So you don't even have to fumble for the box. You don't put it in a box or a drawer somewhere.
You don't even have to think about it. It's just
it's
there.
right
You
there.
know where it is.
Almost like in case of fire, break glass. You know, your emergency thing is right there.
Yeah.
And, you know,
You're the
it's
fire extinguisher
Right.
that fell off the wall.
A Narcan
easy way
extinguisher.
super easy way to administer, and it could save a life, you know, rather than, you know, because as the minutes go by that your brain doesn't have oxygen, you can go brain dead, and you can actually turn into a vegetative state, and that would be the ultimate consequence for one bad decision, you know what I mean? And I say, fuck the stigma about, well, they're just drug addicts, you know, they deserve it. Bullshit, you know what I mean? Like, save a life, you know, you never know when someone accidentally gets a hold of this stuff and could lose their life over it.
It's crazy. Like, it's not even like just say you're using marijuana, like,
they say they're putting it in everything.
Yes,
these days. Marijuana included.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marijuana included.
Literally, like, you could go to even from like the dispensaries. I feel like they're
really?
in them. I think I heard.
Yeah, maybe the vapes and stuff too.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure. I don't use any of that stuff anymore. Ever since fentanyl came on the scene, I'm like, you know what?
It's crazy. I didn't know what
I
didn't know what fentanyl was until I came to treatment. I didn't know like that was like I was probably taking fentanyl.
Yeah.
Like I got DUIs and my blood was drawn. They were like, "There's no Xanax in here." I don't know what you were doing, and it's just like, what the fuck was I taking then?
Oh, they're putting in Xanax. I mean, they're making these fake pressed pills with fentanyl that look like Xanax, but they're home pressed. Somebody has a pill press. They're taking fentanyl. They're making it into look like Xanax or other pill forms, and they're pushing this shit on the streets. And then people are overdosing without even knowing it.
Yeah.
They think they're taking Xanax or whatever, and they're overdosing on it and they're dying, because a lot of these people are young kids. And what does a young kid know what to do when somebody dies? I mean, they're going to split usually, you know. Taking action is so important, you know, getting 911 on the phone. I mean, like, no one goes to jail, but someone may live and you won't be going to their funeral, because like one death can affect so many people, you know, especially an untimely death like an overdose
and a young person. So
or
there's
an adult.
So there's this campaign. It's called Never Use Alone, and it comes with a phone number. And if you're using alone and you think you're getting close to an overdose, you can call this number and talk to these people. It's on our website. It's also on our social media. Never Use Alone. # Never Use Alone. And they will call 911 for you. And since you're on the phone with them, I guess they already have access to your, you know, your location or however it works.
Yeah,
But I work in a drug and alcohol detox, and one of the clients told me that he overdosed, but he was on the phone with Never Use Alone. And thank God he's here. He's here today.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I like that.
There's also 988, which is suicide prevention hotline. We also promote that on the website and on our social medias. Like, there's so many resources out there that people really just you don't have to go through it alone.
Yeah, like
you
you're really not alone.
In silence anymore. And it's okay. Like, it's okay to have feelings and to cry, and for men to have feelings and cry, and boys. A lot of you know, dads used to teach their sons, suck it up.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to. It's okay. We're here for you. There's people out there for you that can help you. If you're going through something, just reach out.
Fuck the stigma with men
Fuck
crying.
the stigma on that one.
Right?
Yeah.
I cry all the time.
Yeah, dude. You feel so good after. You really do. I feel like I've released things.
Yeah, it
Cleansing
cleanses,
of the
it
soul.
releases all those built up emotions. It kind of gets it out and lets you move on to the next.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to put out there?
I think we covered a lot of the bases.
All right.
Yeah, we're always just trying to pool resources with other nonprofits and people in recovery. You know, the more people we know, the more people we know, kind of thing. So, like, the more people we know and the more people we can help, the more people that we have other resources. And if this doesn't work, then we can call this place. Or, you know, like Julie calls me all the time for whatever. And if I can't help, I know somebody that might be able to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I have a really extensive resource base, and that's really what I enjoy doing for this program is really just, like, helping wherever I can. You know, never like, I don't know anything about that. If I don't know anything about it, I'll find somebody.
Right?
Yeah.
You'll
Like,
dig
I
it
had a
up.
girl who needed to go into treatment, but she didn't want to go into treatment because her mother had mental health problems, and she's like, I have to care for my mother. And I said, well, let me figure that out for you. And I got her mom into a long-term mental health stabilization care facility where she's taken care of, she's fed, she's clothed, she's sheltered. Now can you go into treatment?
Yeah.
I got rid of the roadblock for her so she could go into treatment and not have to worry about whether her mother was homeless, on the streets, or living in the car with her brother that was smoking fentanyl.
Yeah.
That was the solution that they had. And I said, no, this isn't right. You know, this is your mother. Let me see what I can do for her. And it was tough because I found a lot of roadblocks, and there were a lot of roadblocks for people that weren't willing to help.
Yeah.
You know, and weren't willing to go that extra mile for this one person. You know what I mean? And like, I remember nurses were like, I take her to a hospital because that's what I was told to do, and I tried to get resources from a hospital, and one of the nurses was like, and who are you? She said, you're phenomenal. And I said, no, I'm just, you know, the guy, you know what I mean? Like, I just, she's got nobody else. I mean, who else is going to do it if not me? You know, you got 2 drug addicted children, and then the mother has mental health, but their solution was just to continue their addiction.
Yeah, they didn't know how. Like, they didn't know a way out.
They had no idea what to
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
So me being in recovery, I'm blessed with the fact that I actually have a clear mind today, and I can actually help and not be super selfish and, like, you know, into myself, where I'm just like, I don't have time for this, you know.
Giving back, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah.
I
All
have
about
to.
that 12 step.
I have to,
Right?
You know, it helps me more than it helps the other person, really, because, like, I get mine from a higher power, and it comes right through, and I get to do things today that I could never do before.
Fuck yeah, it's inspiring. Thank you guys for coming on and like sharing this.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you
sharing
for
all
having
about
us.
it.
It's such a honor
Yeah.
to meet you. And like, oh, we got to meet Fuck the Stigma. I'm like so
Right.
like, elated right now. This is so cool.
All right,
Love
thank
the
you
hair,
guys.
by the way.
Thank you.
I meant to tell you that when I met you, but